All right. All right. Welcome to the Incasters Saga, the podcast where the ink flows, the legend rise, and every draw tells a story. Whether you're a seasoned Illumineer or just opening your first starter deck, you're in the right realm. We're diving deep into the world of Disney Lorcana, from the competitive play breakdowns and collector insights to wild lore theories and spicy card debates. Each episode will bring a mix of the latest news, bold strategies, and a bit of the chaos from our own games and the community here in South Florida. I'm your host, David, aka Hurricane Dave. I'm newer to the world of Lorcana and Team Incasters off-court MVP, running our socials and getting the podcast endeavor going and off the ground, but also trying to bring the spice playing locals and in our local set champs. Thank you for watching our very first podcast. Please stay tuned until the end because we are going to have a special giveaway for you guys that are joining us on this journey as we really get off the ground and moving here. On us the podcast today, we have our fellow Incast members, Dylan, Zeke, Mai, and Matt. So we're going to start by just going through some simple introductions and getting to know a little bit about each member on the team, some of the colors they like to play, and how they kind of got into Disney Lorcana. So Dylan, you're at my top left. So why don't you kick us off?
All right, I'll go first. My name is Dylan Crowley. I've been playing Lorcana since set three, but a longtime card player, played a lot of Magic, a lot of Hearthstone. And yeah, I've just always loved TCGs and the competitive side of TCGs. I got into Lorcana around in set three. I was living in Orlando at the time, so cool place to get into a Disney card game. A lot of Disney fans up there, and just a lot of cool players up there in general. A lot of good players up there. And then I moved back to West Palm Beach, maybe like it was probably close to 8 months ago now. Maybe almost even a year. Anyways, that's where I kind of met all of you guys at the local scene in the Palm Beach area, and proudly a part of our new formed team, the Incasters. And it's been going great so far. It's always nice to be a part of a team and a community, and especially when you have a bunch of like-minded people who are competitive and want to kind of push each other to be the best. As far as my favorite colors, I'd say my personal favorite is definitely purple. I've always loved, or amethyst, sorry. I've always loved amethyst. Ever since I started playing like the bounce package and stuff like that. And even though it's kind of faded off recently, Amethyst just has so many cool and fun, unique tools in its repertoire, and it's a real like any color pairing with purple I've always enjoyed. So that's probably my favorite, but I do bounce around between a lot of decks. Um, so yeah, that's it for
That's
me.
awesome, man. Yeah, most definitely. Getting into the game a little bit newer to the scene, unlike some of you all. A lot of my introduction to you, Dylan, was you crushing Amethyst Steel, and you really got me into playing that bounce package with Big Tank in there. You did a lot of damage with that, so that's always super fun. So I've got you to thank for being really into Amethyst Steel there, which is fun. But let's kick it over to Matt. Tell me kick it off for us there, bud.
Hello, I'm Matt. I'm the captain of the Incasters, our friend group slash competitive team that trying to get out there. I started playing Lorcana in I want to say set five is when I started like actually truly getting into it. So I'm a little bit newer in a sense. Uh, been playing card games for a while. I started out with Pokemon, kind of moved with the friend group to Lorcana. They showed me how to play and loved it from there. I love the competitive side. I love everything about it. Um, my favorite color combination would probably be Emerald Amber. Discard all the way.
Discard
I
Demon,
uh,
baby.
I love it. It's ever since I think my first Lorcana tournament I ever went to. I think I was playing red purple as my first deck, and I played against a local named Jack, and he crushed me with the deck. And ever since then, I was like, I need to pick this deck up. I need to build a 60, and I will start playing it, and I will love this deck forever. And still loving that deck to this day. I mean, cannot complain. The deck's amazing. But
Yeah,
yeah, pretty much.
absolutely. We've seen you work that deck, especially here recently with some of the changes as we brought on the new set. And I will say running some of my aggro stuff and getting under the seed by you is quite vicious, but hey, it helps me learn some stuff too. So thanks, Matt. And now our resident power couple, Zeke and Mai. So ladies first, Mai.
Hi, my name is Mai. Um, I started getting into Lorcana probably around was it set four?
So for so
Yeah, set four. My sister accidentally bought us Lorcana packs when we were playing Villainous, the board game itself. She mistook that for it, so then we opened the few packs and um we pulled the enchanted Zeus from it, and we were like, "Oh my God, it's like worth so much." And our friend Jose was already into the card game itself already, so we were like, "Why don't we just check out the scene? We already have a few cards. We got a few started packs, tried to figure it out ourselves, but we pretty much got into it through that. And we went to Prodigy, we met a few of the people, and we've been doing it ever since then.
That's awesome. Yeah, and Mai, you've made a little following for yourself with a little fan club, the Mai Tais,
my
which
toes.
is always super fun. That hey, look at that. We've got a team within the team with
I don't even know how that started.
I,
I don't
I
really know
don't I
how
don't
this
either,
started.
but I'm happy to be part of the ride of the team Mai Tais as we're at it. But Zeke, bring us home here, bud.
Yeah, I mean I had some TCG experience with like online TCGs. I didn't have like any like really any physical TCG experience
Me neither.
until yeah, she had no TCG experience going into this. So Lorcana set four Ursula's is like the first time I like played locals, played, tournaments, organized tournaments. So it was a lot of fun. Played Purple Steel for like three straight sets. Switched to Blue Steel in set eight because Bell was broken and they banned Fort. I've been playing
RIP for RIP
RP
Hiram.
Fort, RP Hiram. And then ever since they banned those two cards, I've pretty much been like rotating. I'm playing a lot of green purple, playing a little bit of red blue, a little bit of steel.
Not to mention what colors I'm playing.
Yeah, she's a blur. She plays a lot of blurple and a lot of purple steel.
I used to play Mufasa first.
Yeah.
That's how I started.
Ooh.
Mufasa first. And then he played Purple Steel, but then he went off Purple Steel, so then I played Purple Steel. And then I went into Blurple.
Her biggest win for a while was beating Monty in the Mufasa mirror to make top eight at a case tournament.
There you go. Hey, man, we all got to put those feathers in our cap some way or another. And you always remember those moments. And I think that's a great segue. And obviously, we'll learn more about everyone on the team as we kind of continue this podcast and this journey. But as you said, Zeke, that was a great win for Mai. And you guys all had an amazing second place finish at a Conquest Invitational event held here by one of our local game shops that's done a ton for the Lorcana community, Southside Gaming. And I want to hear from you guys how you guys think that event went. What do you think the deck combos you decided to bring? First time playing that format. So, Cap, I'll let you kick us off. What did you think about the event, and what did you decide to go with for your deck combo?
I really like the combination. I really like the three deck format is actually really fun. I wanted to do green yellow, purple steel, red blue was my original combination, and I was like, this is a team event. I have to look at for the greater good of the team. So I had the 360, I think 3 days before, and I went straight into green purple, uh, red blue, and then it was amber steel, which is the three probably the best combination in my opinion out of all of them. The event went pretty good. I started off losing. I did lose round one. The mirror is green. It came down to green purple versus green purple, and it's literally like the mirror is the hardest matchup. It's whoever sees the evasive bird first, which is Diablo, it pretty much wins the game. Like I could not see the bird, and lost the game from there. Round two ended up 2-0ing my opponent. He was playing blue steel. I went red blue first this time, and then went into the green purple after. Everybody won ban Amber Steel. I think I've played one game of Amber Steel the whole weekend. I did not play any other. I did not get to play a deck besides one time on stream in the finals against SSG. Um, Round three, I ended up hitting. I very close match. My opponent just saw Cobra off the top, and say la vie from there to get the 20. So I mean, there's not much I could do about that. And then the last finals match was against Jack in the finals against SSG. Oh, I think I missed one. It was Gabe again. We hit a Illuminati again as well. So I ended up pretty much looking over to Mine Zeke to carry me because I hit the same green purple mirror again. So I looked over and I was like, please win these matches. Like I cannot explain that mirror match any better than anybody else. It's
The
whoever top decks better.
the
Yeah,
minute
no,
the minute
Yeah.
Matt saw me and my one, he went, "All right, sounds good." School.
Yeah, I was, right away I was like, cool.
so
You
you
came up
mentioned
first. Sorry.
no, you're good. You mentioned Illuminati. So it was Incasters, Illuminati, SSG, right? And who are we missing here?
At Freedom Gaming.
Freedom Games. Nice. All right. So yeah, second place out of that group is not bad. I definitely know what you're talking about there when you're playing the mirror. You've got to, it's every mirror is kind of the same. Whenever whoever sees that goats, those cobras, and that purple steel, your bird and that emerald, I mean, it's definitely crucial. So Dylan, let me ask you, going into it, your experience in that conquest event, any strategy that went into actually building those decks? Did you guys think about anything when it came to like, hey, maybe I'll have a decoy deck out there? Did any of that kind of pop into your head as you were kind of prepared for conquest?
I think it definitely did a little bit. For me anyway, like just leading up to an event like that with the triple deck format, I think it's always kind of wise to think of any potential angle you can get to kind of have the upper hand. But I also don't think like this was the first time a lot of these players, like pretty much anyone, was really playing
Playing
this
that, yeah,
format at a serious event. And I think you're just going to be more rewarded for going for like consistency than trying to do like something super clever. And I think we kind of saw the same thing. I know we're going to talk about Worlds, but like at Worlds, we kind of saw something along those lines as well. I think consistency just kind of trumps trying to do,
gimmick.
yeah, trying to
Yeah,
be too fancy. Um, but yeah, as far as my experience with that event, I definitely, it was not my day. Unfortunately, I definitely kind of dragged the team down a bit in that one. Um, I do like my deck choices. I went red purple, amber steel, like aggro, and then green blue, with like Clarabelle and Bend of My Will, that version. And I don't really regret the decisions. I think those decks were solid. I just and I'm not one to always blame variance, but I really do think it was just not my day. I had a lot of close matches, a lot of games that just came down to my opponent top decking the exact answer that they needed.
yeah.
I remember one game, I think it was against Brian from Freedom, where I was on the play with the Amber Steel aggro, and I had no one drop in like 3 or 4 of my Let the Storm Range odds in my hand against green purple. It's just a very tough outcome. And I still ended up getting to 19, and he top decked like Bruno
Oh,
to be able to not let me win. So it's like a lot of that stuff just happened for me that day, and it was a rough tournament for me, but it happens. My team killed it, so they were able to get second, even through all that. So that's just amazing. They're super super amazing for that. But I think just going into that format, I mean, again, it was the first time a lot of us have played that format. We weren't. I don't think you guys really knew what to expect. I didn't really know what to expect. I mean, we kind of knew what decks would be prevalent. Um, but we also know a lot of those players, and it was interesting seeing what their deck choices were. Um, People were bringing some interesting choices. I think we saw like a racers deck and stuff like that.
nice.
And those are the decks you're going to have to play because people are going to ban your strong decks. So it was a fun event all around. I know there's a lot of mixed feelings on the format and stuff like that, but uh, it was really cool to be able to kind of test that out and then see it in action in Worlds as well right after that. And we'll see what happens with the format, but great event by SSG. All their events are awesome. So
Yep.
super grateful to them for hosting all this stuff too, and just doing these little team events is just awesome. It keeps the players engaged. So
No, most definitely. It's great for the community. I think that was part of my initial hook. I started, like I said, I started playing in November of last year, and someone invited me out to the, was it the 10 case that they did in December? And that was like, I was maybe two locals in, and I go into this event and just get completely mollywopped. But it was just so much fun, and seeing that many people engage into this world, which was awesome. So yeah, SSG, shout out to them for always bringing it with those events. But Zeke and Mai, what about you guys? What was kind of your experience with the event? Anything you guys would have done differently that could have potentially landed us in first? But again, second place overall, great for us as a team.
I mean, Zeke obviously had the lead on all of us.
Let's go,
Undefeated,
Zeke.
carried us all the way through pretty much. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I really like this format. Um, I actually really like the ban part of the format because I actually think there's a lot of strategy and a lot of thought that like goes into
Absolutely.
it. And I think you can win a lot of your matchups just based on like if you ban correctly.
So,
Um,
so let me ask you this, mentioning the band there, and this anyone can answer this. What did you guys end up seeing banned more often than not? What do you think was that those two color combos that were like, yeah, you know what, that's always going to be going?
my yellow steel got banned, so I played the same decks as Matt. Me and Matt
Okay.
were on the same like same 60, same 60, same 60 for like all three decks.
Hmm.
And like just like him, I got yellow steel banned every time. Except against Freddie in the semifinals, just because he wanted to see yellow steel. But I kind of knew they were gonna ban yellow steel every time. It's the deck I put like the least amount of practice into, because I didn't think
Smart.
I was gonna play it really at all. And I actually based my bans off the fact that I knew they were gonna ban my yellow steel. Um, so, like for example, against Mikey, I banned his Blurple and I didn't ban his Green Steel, even though most time people were just like that was the only time Mikey got to play Green Steel. Because like Ray banned it against him, the other guy banned it against him. And he went undefeated on Blurple that day because he's
Yeah.
just really good at Blurple. Um, but his Green Steel, like it's good. It's just like Green Steel can be a very exploitable deck. Um, like I beat it with Green Purple just because like I saw Diablo, I was able to discard his hand faster. And then I beat it, and then he played Green Steel again in game three, and I beat it with Red Blue because I went like mana on three, mana on five, B prep, and then the manners are just sitting there. I can't do anything to clear the manners.
Yeah, you throw out Duckburg, and that's hard to clear out there.
Yeah, it's just super hard. But like, if he would have not been Yellow Steel, like he can set up an Ursula on three and then just start clearing my whole board with like Ursula, or he has like other options with his Green Steel.
Right.
I knew he wasn't gonna ban it, so that's like, oh, same thing with like Ray. Like Ray, I banned his I banned his red purple when he was playing green yellow, and he was saying like his green yellow got banned, or he was playing blue steel too. His blue steel got banned. Um, like people were letting him play the red purple. But I was like, I wasn't gonna let these players play their decks that they're the best at. Especially because Ray, he looks at me and he's like, I have three games on green yellow. And I was like, okay, I'm not gonna ban that deck then. Like, please try to pilot green yellow.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, go
not
for it.
pilot.
Be my guest. What about
Um,
you, Mai? What did you see out of the event? Any of your takeaways, and how did it kind of go for you?
well, for me, it was more so like if I see, it depended more on like if I cared more about the steel or the green, or if it was like both green steel discard together. I'd usually just go for that. Like if it was green steel discard, then yes, I just ban that off bat. But if it was like a separate color, like green blue and purple steel, which was the other option that I saw, then I'd ban the purple steel because that would be obviously the bigger threat to me. I was playing Mufasa, the red yellow, the blurple, and the green steel discard
Hmm.
decks, and it really just depended on to people like like is green steel discard a bigger threat to you than it is me playing blurple. So, and even if they ban either one of those, I still have Mufasa, which I also played a lot before changing it up to purple. So I had experience pretty much like on the same level throughout all these decks. So no matter what, I kind of knew what I was gonna do, no matter what deck they were gonna ban.
Good. Yeah, that's awesome that you kind of had a plan going into it and knowing how to pivot based on the ban. And I think that's what makes this group as competitive as we are. I think the majority of our team, high level players, high IQ players, and I think between us jumping on Discords and testing with each other and just kind of talking stuff out is kind of what led to you guys not only being in second place, but having the success that you guys have had in the community thus far. All four of you already, and additional team members on Team Incasters have already been have gotten their bid into the SSG Invitational that's coming up next month, which is a huge tournament. It's amazing that we have so many people represented from our team Incasters that are going to be there. So kind of let's talk about that. Expectations going into that big tournament. How did you get that bid in to that SSG Invitational, Matt?
I actually top aided one of the SSG events. I'm pretty sure it was the 15 case, if I'm not mistaken, for I want to say it's Azurite C. I top aided that playing Blue Steel. Bell back then. Again, bring back Fort, please.
It was
Yes.
Arcadia's Island.
It was Arcasia's Island.
Arcasius.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Arcadia's
yeah.
Island.
Bring back Forest Sphere, please. That card was absolutely broken into Bell turn one. Uh, Blue Steel held me all the way. Aggro, Kiwi, whatever you want to call it. I mean, the deck just ran itself. I actually had a very good breaker round one. Shout out to Dylan. I actually played my teammate round one, beat
Ink on ink
him.
crime, baby.
Yeah, and then like carried me straight to top eight. Beat a whole bunch of big names on a straight aggro deck. Played actually Zan in top eight, and I mean I lost in there, but just being invited. I mean, again, top eight was always the goal. Now it's
Yep.
winning the whole tournament. So, and
Absolutely.
the invitational's gonna be infinity format. So we do have a lot to test, a lot to figure out when Fable does release to figure out what we're going to play.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's going to be a lot of work that's going to need to be done there, kind of testing and tinkering to figure out what we're going to do from a team perspective. But I think that'll be fun. I think that'll kind of put a little more rejuvenation into the game. Not saying that it's in a bad spot, but anytime there's something new and fresh for us to kind of work on and kind of put our brain power on, I think it helps it even more.
Yep,
Um,
you know once Hiram Flaversham comes back, everybody's gonna be jumping back to him.
oh
So,
man.
yep,
Listen, I literally bought my foil Hirams the weekend before they were banned.
yep.
So that one hurt. That one hurt. So
Oh yeah.
Dylan, what about you? What got you into the invitational for SSG?
So I've had a pretty good run with the SSG tournaments. I ended up winning their first big tournament for I think it was Azurite Seas. So that was great. Playing Hector in the finals. And then I've made top eight at three other ones out of I think eight or nine now. So some pretty good standings. And it's always a blast. I love going down there, and their tournaments are great. Super like SSG is just phenomenal. But yeah, that's so I've been invited. I've had a few pass downs now.
There you
So
go. Attaboy.
you're welcome to the pass downs, I guess. And yeah, I'm pumped for the invitational. It's a lot of big names, a lot of good players. It's gonna be very hyper competitive, which is something I love. And I think it's going to be very interesting because you have Fabled, and they're doing an event for Fabled, which will be core constructed the day before the Invitational tournament. So I plan on playing in that as well. So I think I'm going to be more focused on trying to figure out Infinity, and depending on the ban list, I think the big question mark is like Red Blue with Hiram
Yep.
being back. But we also like I'm also going to try and prepare for the Fabled event. But really just kind of using that as a warm up for the invitational. So I'm stoked. I think Infinity will be a very interesting format with the new Fabled cards. I mean, we don't really know much about the set yet, and we
Yep.
don't know the power level. There could be some really game breaking cards even for Infinity in that set. So it'll be very interesting. And again, you just have a super high competitive player base. and I can almost guarantee that like you're bound to see some wild stuff in at least in the top make it to top cut. And yeah, it's just gonna be a really awesome, exciting event. I mean, we don't have a lot of info about the prizing yet, but I'm sure it's gonna be crazy. SSG always goes big for their tournaments, so yeah, I'm pumped.
Yeah, it should be a great event. And like you said, something crazy. You're going to see top. And I think that's kind of what we've gotten out of the SSG event so far is that we have such a competitive landscape down here in South Florida, and their events have been so big that it's bringing other people in. Those events that first weekend, they're setting the meta, man. Like we're seeing so much learned out of that one tournament and that first weekend, which is great for us. So Zeke and Mai, to you guys, how did you get your bid in?
I got my bid in the charity 15 case. I was playing Kiwi, a very similar list to what Matt was playing when he got his. We kind of made that list together, sort of the week leading up to the release. Um, and so I played like a very similar list. Because I think it was only like a month or two after, maybe just a month
Yeah, I think
after,
it was a month.
after Matt's. I actually started 1 and 2, and then it was when they did. It was the only tournament they did 16 cut for. So I got in at 16th in the top cut, and I played the first seed who was undefeated all day, and I beat him 2-0 on
Nice.
the mirror matchup.
Always nice to win the mirror. Always nice to win the mirror. And Mai, what about you?
Well, I did top 16 that game that day too. So I could have gotten a passed on from there eventually, maybe with all the no's coming in, maybe. But my invitational was for the most recent one, the Jafar Reigns Case tournament, where I went 5-0 and then and then lost the next two, but I still made it into 12th place and got my invitational for all the pass downs, including Dylan.
Dylan
So
helped the pass down.
yeah, Dylan was there for the pass down.
Also,
Dylan
probably
the
the most
Dylan the
un,
MVP of the pass downs.
probably the
And
Uh
most
assists.
unlucky melee way I've seen it work out, where she went 5-0 in a 7 round tournament and was not able to ID either of her last 2 rounds based on how she got paired.
yeah,
Like the most unfortunate thing I've ever seen. It was
that
crazy.
was brutal for sure.
It definitely, I mean, it just happens. I still think it's crazy that like being like a woman in this card game, area, especially since it's so competitive with all these amazing players around here, going 5-0 during that tournament in the first place is crazy. And I definitely couldn't have done it without Nixon. Nixon was literally, he literally practiced with me almost every single night, every single deck we could have imagined, before leading up to this, especially Green Steel discard. I definitely would have not known like what to play against either like the puppy dogs, Jack's like green yellow dogs, or the green steel discards if Nixon wouldn't have been there and like helped me out with it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
shout out to Nixon, fellow Incaster, and all of our team that's always there to help us prepare for these events. And yeah, that was crucial. And again, kudos to you all on how well and your IQ for the game and getting you into this invitational. And I know we've got us a couple other events coming up. Dylan, you're heading to Texas, right? And representing us in a couple weeks.
Yes, so the PPG Summit event is happening this weekend, 4th of
Oh,
July
nice.
weekend. Yeah. So I'm flying out Thursday. And I'm excited. I bought my tickets a while back when they first announced it. It looked like a really kind of hyped up tournament. And I knew we weren't going to have any big tournaments for a while. And now that Worlds announcements have been out, I'm definitely glad I did because we're not going to be really having many like DLCs for a while. So yeah, this looks like a fun tournament. They have a Friday 10K event that is 10K in product for prizing. And you also, and this is something that's very interesting, I haven't seen in a Lorcana tournament yet. If you, depending on how well you do on Friday, you can win buys for Saturday
Oh,
for the Saturday
nice.
rounds. So Saturday's a 15K cash prize. So if you make top 8 or top 4 or something like that in the Friday event, you get 2 buy rounds for Saturday. So I just thought that was a very interesting way of doing things. I've seen some people who are kind of not so happy about it, and I don't really know how I feel about it because I haven't played in a tournament like that before. But that would be cool, I guess, to make top on Friday and then just kind of have a couple of rounds of buys. They're also doing it where the top cut for the Friday event is Saturday morning before the Saturday event, and then the top cut for Saturday is Sunday. Um, so yeah, it's 2 day events for both, which will be interesting. But it should be a fun event. I'm looking forward to seeing some of my friends from some of the other teams, like Snugly Duckling and stuff, just players I met throughout all the big tournaments over the years.
Nice.
Um, and yeah, should be hyped. I think we're going to see a very diverse meta, especially after the Worlds decks, um, and should be fun.
Absolutely. And I know, Zeke, you were talking about CCS has some new tournament structures coming up that we might look at taking a road trip to Atlanta to check out, huh?
Yeah, so Charlie's Collectibles, they've done a lot of like tournaments before, but they just announced that they're going to do like a circuit. I think it's like four major tournaments, and if you get top eight in those four tournaments, you get an invite to their 50K 128 person tournament, and the rest of the invites will be based on like points that you'll accumulate throughout the main events of the major tournament, four tournaments, and then also like Charlie's usually does like a side event on Sunday, and like sometimes a second like a side event that happens a little after the main event on Saturday. So depending on how you place in those, you can also earn points that lead into qualifying for the 50K tournament. And I think they said the first tournament's gonna be September 6th and the 7th, and those are gonna be 25Ks, which is a lot of money.
It's a lot of
Um,
money.
a
It's a
lot of
lot of
money.
money for playing with cardboard.
Yeah. Huge for us, like, we live in the southeast, we live in Florida. Atlanta's not that far. So if we could go to this tournament, show up at this tournament, it'd be really cool. Um and it's awesome to see, like, especially since there's only three DLCs. Like a lot of people are, some hype has definitely been killed, I think, for DLCs in general. It's exciting that we got them,
Yep.
but only three, and the area that they put them in kind of sucks. Just for like the rest of the country, they're pretty consolidated to like one general area.
Yeah.
So seeing stuff like PPG, seeing Charlie's Collectibles, Southside, them doing all these other tournaments is kind of what's keeping the game alive. Like, really, the only reason why I got back into the game was because of Southside Gaming and their tournament structures. Because I've never even been to a DLC.
Yeah.
Like, I started playing in Ursula's, but I kind of dropped out for a little bit, and then I got back into it because of Southside. And if it wasn't for Southside, I probably wouldn't have gone back into it just because there was been no DLCs for forever. So, like, huge shout out to all the tournament organizers that are like building this game,
Yeah.
because Ravensburg's doing an okay job.
Yeah, so
DLCs,
Charlie's
yeah,
Collectibles, they're definitely keeping this game alive for now, right now.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
And
speaking of Southside, they got the tournament this weekend too.
yeah, and Matt and Mai, you guys are playing in that one this weekend?
Yes. I'm
Yes,
not
we
so
are.
sure what I'm actually gonna be playing. That's why I'm boot camping until then. I usually go into all the tournaments really unsure anyways, and then I'll just go from there.
Yeah, you go in unsure, and then next thing you know, Mai is super locked in, and
I I I was testing with Matt literally the day before the Team Conquest event, and I lost every single game every single time. So and then I went out there and I got like 2-1, and then won against Monty in the semifinals. So it worked out for me.
that's awesome. But yeah, we're definitely looking forward to seeing how we kind of place in some of these events, especially after everything we learned from Worlds and as the format is continuing to change. We were going to try and talk about Worlds. I think we're kind of running to our time here that we were wanting to stick to, but I think this is a great jumping off point for everyone to learn a little bit more about us and how we are wanting to help grow the Lorcana community in South Florida, grow our team and in the competitive landscape, and help others learn and get ourselves get better in the process as well. Like I said, me being a newer player, I've gotten so much better just being a part of this group and this community here in South Florida. And we look forward to kind of continuing this journey of the Incasters and as we move throughout Fabled and all the other sets here to come. So, as a thank you for watching and joining our first podcast, we're going to be posting this up. And if you comment, share, and follow our socials from our podcast today, our video podcast here, we're actually going to be raffling off to someone that not only likes, follows, and shares and comments, right? Comment what you liked about our podcast so far or our team. So we know that you are engaged. We're going to be giving away, thanks to Incasters' very own Nixon has donated what is it? Is it a Japanese first chapter box?
Yeah, it's a Japanese first chapter
Yeah,
box.
Japanese first chapter box. So if you meet those requirements, we're going to be doing a drawing. Let's call it the beginning of next week. So Tuesday of next week. So we'll give it a full week. And one lucky follower viewer will get a box of Japanese first chapter. But that being said, thank you guys for joining today. Thank you, Matt, Dylan, Mai, and Zeke for being the first Incasters to join us here for our podcast, and we look forward to our next episode. Thank you all. Peace out.